And drinks rich in flavonoids may reduce the development of dementia. Researchers from Belfast say that consuming larger quantity of products rich in flavonoids such as berries, tea, red wine, or dark chocolate can reduce the risk of developing dementia. Flavonoids are naturally occurring compounds in plants with groups of polyphenols. They play the role of dyes and antioxidants, and in most they are concentrated in the surface layers of plant tissues. They also protect the plants before insects and mushrooms. Flavonoids have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. They also reduce the viscosity of the blood and seal the blood vessels. How to it shows, they also have properties that can protect against the development of dementia. This was demonstrated by researchers from Queen's University Belfast in an article published in JAMA Network Open. Dementia is a group of brain diseases that they are characterized by a progressive decrease in cognitive abilities. Usually there is a form of memory loss, as well as a disorder of other functions, such as speech, or a decrease in the ability to focus attention. These restrictions are usually serious enough to make it difficult and even impossible for independent functioning. Scientists are currently unable to explain the causes of dementia. It is known that the risk of onset increases sharply with age, although it may be it also affects the lifestyle. Smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, or obesity can increase the risk. It is estimated that dementia affects 1 in 14 people over the age of 65 and 1 in 6 people over the age of 80. The most common form of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. Risk of Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia, the other for incidence of dementia, doubling every 5 years in age over 65 years of age. It is not clear how dementia begins. It is now scientists believe this is long before the symptoms appear. Prevalence of dementia worldwide rapidly it is growing, and this is associated with increasing life expectancy. Unfortunately, currently the disease it has become the 5th most common cause of death in the world. Although age and genetics contribute significantly for the development of the disease, evidence has shown that the risk factor is also diet. According to a study by researchers at Queen's University Belfast, an increased consumption of products and beverages rich in flavonoids may help reduce risk of developing dementia. Consuming rich products in flavonoids carries with it a number of health benefits. These compounds, found mainly in products plant, have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory properties. It's an anti-cancer. They have also been linked to reduce the development of chronic diseases such as cardiovascular diseases and also improvement of cognitive functions. In their research, the researchers analyzed dietary data from British Biobank for more than 120,000 adults aged 40 to 70 years. Our findings show that consuming 6 extra servings products rich in flavonoids per day, in particular berries, tea, and red wine, was associated with a 28% lower risk of developing dementia. Results were most noticeable in people with high genetic risk the development of the disease, as well as in people with symptoms of depression, Cassidy said. These results provide a clear message to the managers' public health care because they suggest that a simple remedy such as increased daily consumption of flavonoid-rich foods may lower risk of developing dementia. There is currently no effective treatment for this disease, so preventive interventions to improve health and quality of life and reducing social and economic costs should continue to be the main priority of public health, emphasized Amy Jennings, first author, research. Life in the Atlantic is developing thanks to the dust from the Sahara. Dust from the Sahara to flood the Atlantic provides ecosystems the aqueous iron necessary, according to new research. At the same time, iron related to Saharan dust has properties that change with travel by distance. The greater the dust has traveled, the more effective it works. Ocean life develops with dust from the Sahara aired over the Atlantic from thousands of kilometers away, scientists from Florida State University. All because of iron it contains. Availability of the iron can be a limited resource, and this is an element necessary for life, enabling such processes as breathing, photosynthesis, or DNA synthesis. Increasing the flow of iron to seas and oceans can increase carbon phytoplankton, which has consequences for the global climate. Description and results of the research appeared in the journal Frontiers in Marine Science. Iron is an extremely important element for different processes, including for cellular respiration or photosynthesis. However, it does not all its forms in the environment are easily assimilated by the marine organisms. This element is distributed to the oceans from rivers, melting glaciers, or hydrothermal activity. A very important role the wind also plays here. We show that iron related to the dust from the Sahara and poured to the west over the Atlantic has properties that change with the traveled distance. The greater this distance, the more bioreactive iron, Dr. Jeremy Owens from Florida State University, said the study co-author. This one the relationship suggests chemical processes in the atmosphere transform less bioreactive iron in its more accessible forms, he added. Owens and his co-workers measured the quantity bioreactive and total iron in bottom drilling cores Atlantic Ocean, collected by the International Ocean Discovery Program, IODP, and its previous versions. Scientists have focused on 4 cores mined in the vicinity of the so-called Sahara-Sahel Dust Corridor, which stretches Mauritania to Chad and is an important source of iron. 2 cores closest to the corridor were excavated about 200 kilometers and 500 kilometers west of northwestern Mauritania, 1/3 of the central Atlantic and 1/4 about 500 kilometers east of Florida. The authors examined the upper layers of these cores, up to 200 meters, reflecting settlements for the last 120,000 years. They measured total iron concentrations in the cores and also concentration of iron isotopes. Isotope analysis has shown that this iron comes from the Sahara. They then used a set of chemical reactions to reveal iron present in the sediment in the form of various minerals. The iron contained in them, but not as bioreactive, probably made from more bioreactive forms through geochemical processes on the seabed. Instead of focusing on the total iron content, how this has happened in previous studies, we measured iron, which can easily dissolve in the ocean and where marine organisms can access as part of its metabolic pathways. Only a fraction of total iron in the sediments it is bioavailable, but this fraction may change during iron transport of its original source. We wanted to investigate these relationships, Owens said. Results showed that the proportion of bioreactive iron was lower in the cores most prosy to the west. Scientists point out that these parts of bioreactive iron closer to Africa have probably been used through organisms in a water tone, so that they never reached the sediments at the bottom. Our results suggest that during transport atmospheric over long distances of mineral properties originally non-bioreactive active dust-related iron change, making it more it's a bioreactive. Then the iron is taken by phytoplankton before it will reach the bottom, said Dr. Timothy Lyons of the University of California Riverside, co-author of the study. We conclude that dust-reaching regions such as Amazon basins and Bahamas may contain iron that is particularly soluble and accessible to life, thanks to a great distance from Africa northern and thus longer exposure to chemical processes in the atmosphere. The transported iron appears to stimulate biological processes in the same way, in which fertilization with iron can affect life in the oceans and continents. It is up to you. The study is proof of the concept, confirming that iron related to dust it has a big impact on life long distances from its source, Lyons added. 09AA